If you are leading an AI project in your organization, then there is almost 90% chance you will fail. What is the meaning of failing here? The meaning is you will not be able to justify ROI to stakeholders. Why so? Because you will not be able to go to production. I am not saying that, data is saying that. What are the blockers? Why it happens? And how we can be alert from day one? That is what we are going to discuss in this video in a very non-technical way, because I know many of you are managerial kind of people, not from technology background. But if you are somebody who is working hands-on as well, this video is very important for you. I am going to show you a very basic pseudo code, not the complete code, just the pseudo code to make you understand how notebook code looks different from production code. And for a basic RAG, how the same code will work. If we want to talk about a RAG, the same code will work differently in basic demos and production. And we are going to go to PowerPoint presentation and we are going to see some numbers, some stats, and I am going to tell you the secrets of what people are doing right when they are going to production. Okay guys, I promise you I will not show you lot of codes in this, and this is also not a code, basically this is a pseudo code, but I will try to explain you why it is important for you to understand this. From here to here what you see is the code that you build in your notebooks. So when you build a demo, when you build a POC, what you do, you just load some documents, you retrieve it from a vector DB and you fire a LLM query. This is basically your RAG at a very high level. Okay, but if you want to take a screenshot of this guys and share with someone, I think this is worth sharing, because as I told you, this is not a code, this is a pseudo code. But try to understand how this naive approach is different from the production approach. Okay, so what production actually requires is, first of all, you need to have an authentication framework, right? So if you can see, I've written here a demo function, load from S3 with IAM auth. Then I'm saying compliance requirement, which means you can't have PII in training and things like that. So that those kind of requirements also you need to take care. So I'm writing scrub PII. All these are pseudo codes just to make you understand. Okay. Then you need to use a mechanism that will do the work faster. Basically you need to take care of latency. So you need to go for different chunking methods and all that. So I'm saying latency optimization. Then you run your retriever and then you are just firing a response here, but you need to take care of few more things. So here I am saying max count is equal to 500. Why? Because we need to take care of costing part. We are saying timeout is equal to 3. Why? Because this is the SLA requirement. Depending on what is the use case, we have to take care of these SLAs as well. And then I am saying fallback is equal to rule based, because LLMs, as we know, can behave crazy at times, and what happens when it fails, right? So we have a fallback mechanism here as well. Now this is how you will call, but there are more things to it. The more things to it is, here you need to do a logging of whatever is happening. So this will come under, let's say, agent observability or monitoring of agent or AI control plane, things like that. You need to have a logs of what all things your AI system is doing, and you need to have a cost tracker so that it doesn't go out of the roof. So what are the things we spoke about here in this few lines of pseudo code? You need to take care of authentication, compliance requirement, latency optimization, cost control and cost reporting, SLA requirements, the fallback, and logging auditing for compliance purposes. Now this is just to make you understand how the basic code and production code will be different. This is minimum that you need to have in production. Okay, now I'm going to show you what are the most common failure scenarios in production, and this will help you to have a right communication with right stakeholders when you are talking. Let me show you some points in PPT format. First of all, why 85% to 95% of AI projects never make it to production? So some data we will see first, and data is very much evident. I'm sure you have also seen these kind of data. And one thing is, it's not model, it's everything around model. Okay, so 85% to 95%, and this comes from many reports, never reach production. Less than 5% only actually ship. Okay, How the pilots look like? As we saw in our code, the pseudo code, there will be user query, there will be RAG pipeline, and there will be LLM response. So you stitch it together like this, and you get very good applause in sprint planning or within your teams, or when you are showing it to your bosses. You get very good credit, very good applause, and everybody says, wow, you have done a great work, and now let's scale it, let's take it to production. But it is impressive in demo. In production, it need to take care of multiple layers. What are the layers? This is again one slide that you can take screenshot, guys, and you can keep it with you. Okay, every time we talk a production AI setup, right, as I was telling you in the code, you need to have access control mechanism. If you are working in financial sectors, right, you need to have some kind of API gateways. Basically, you cannot call the models from like you are calling in your notebook, right? So while experimenting, there is a different way of calling, but you cannot use the same way when you are putting it into the production. So authentication API, then the small part is RAG pipeline here, and here you see the LLM, that is a small part again. You need to have the output filtering. Why? Because you cannot throw everything that comes out of the LLM. You need to have the audit logs, you need to have the cost monitor, you need to have the PIA scrubbing if you want. You need to connect to various legacy systems in this data pipeline, right? You need to connect to various legacy systems. What I'm trying to say here is various layers, various components, and hence various chances of making mistakes. So that is what I'm writing. Each layer adds latency, cost, and failure surfaces. What production actually require? Every box here is a team, a ticket, or a review cycle. Please try to understand this. Every box here is a team. So suppose I want to talk about this PIA scrubbing. So what level of PIA scrubbing? What I can use, what I cannot use? Who will tell me that I need to go to a different team for that? In terms of API gateway, suppose you are working in a regulatory industry like bank, what kind of API gateways are allowed, not allowed, how other teams are using, that you need to take care here. So basically all these boxes are one different team, one different basically group you need to go through, and you need to get the sign off. The model is in middle and the model is small. As I am saying here, it's the smallest part of the problem. Let's talk about some of the problems or failure points. The very first failure point is normally your data is not ready. And this is again coming from multiple research that 37% cases data integration is the number one blocker if you want to scale your AI projects. Right? So your data is not ready. Only 9% data is actually usable when it comes to enterprise AI. Now, real enterprise data is messy, all of us know. But if I want to consume some data, then creation of those data pipelines, bringing the data in right shape and size, and in the form that is allowed to be consumed and that I can consume. It's not an easy job, okay? Hence, I am saying this is a first failure point. Whenever you think of scaling your AI projects, you should think about data availability. How do you stitch things together? How do you ensure that, I'll talk about it in a moment, but how do you ensure that it doesn't get blocked when you try to scale it? The second failure point is the cost cliff nobody planned for. Okay, so this is very, very important, guys. The reason being, I'm giving here environment, queries per day, and cost per day. For example, in demo, you do 50 queries per day and your cost is, let's say, $0.15. When you go to production in the beginning, you do 50,000 and then your cost per day goes 150. But if you scale the same project and your query goes 500K, then what happens to your cost? 1500 per day or 45K a month. This is not a small number, and this is where if you have not given a heads up, if you have not taken approvals, if you don't have budget, this project is going to get killed. Okay, I am telling you from my personal experience, guys. When you scale a AI project and people did not anticipate this much of cost, your project is simply going to go to the dustbin. Okay, understand this very carefully. Now, this is where the CFO gets involved. I am saying no cost model at 10x, 100x, and 1000x query volume is equal to no production approval. You should anticipate this and you should get the approvals for this from the beginning. Okay. And what is the failure point 3? Legal or compliance or any kind of regulation teams, security teams may kill your project in 3 months. Let's see some examples. Engineering team, your team built it nicely and delivered on time. Very good, no problem. Security was not involved since beginning and first review happens at, let's say, week 10 or week 11. At that time, what will happen is they will say there are ABC reasons which is not a normal practice and we are not happy with this. Please stop this immediately. Okay. Legal can get involved and they will say some regulatory exposure. Guys, you are using personal customer data. You should not use this, blah, 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 ABC reason. Just stop this. Okay. Data privacy will come into picture, PII found in training pipeline and things like that. And your project is going to get stopped. The key thing to understand here is most projects die here as well, not in the engineering. There is only one green row of engineering and 3 red rows. The ratio is the entire lesson. Your job is to make entire story correct, not only that piece correct. And how you can do that? You have to involve these guys from the beginning. Which guys? These guys, security guys, legal guys, compliance guys, budget guys, who approves budget. You need to ensure that the framework you are using, the high level architecture you are using is all approved within the frameworks that company or anywhere you are trying to deploy is using those. Okay. Now, what are the teams that actually ship solution do differently? This again coming from my own experience, guys. I'll give you 2-3 points that keep in mind whenever you are having a communication with stakeholders or your bosses, right? First thing is specific and measurable problem. Okay. Many places you will see use AI. You have to run away from that place. Whenever someone says use AI, just run away. Okay. What is that you want to do using AI? That is the first thing you need to ask. For example, here I am saying reduce support response time by 30%. A measurable problem. Start from here. A measurable problem. Okay. Then you need to have that budget person under confidence. So what I am trying to say here is on many occasions there will be a technical sponsor or there will be a technology side of the things who will say go ahead, but business is not ready for that budget maybe. What I am saying here is a domain manager with budget authority and personal stake in the outcome. How do you ensure that personal stake in the outcome? So suppose there is a senior leader who under whom the customer satisfaction is not that great. Then if you say that I will improve the support response time by 30% and then your life will be easy, that is where you will get confidence of that person and that is where budget will start flowing. So think about budget from day 1, day 0. Otherwise it will simply going to get killed and technology teams or maybe some people on the technical sides may not be able to help you that much. Okay. So take business persons or budget person's approval and go ahead and in confidence. Then governance should be built from day 1. What is the meaning of this? Very simple. As I was telling you in the beginning also, whatever the frameworks you are using, whatever the architecture you are using, how you are logging, auditing, monitoring, how you are ensuring that your system operates under given guardrail, how do you ensure cost is monitored, how do you ensure activity of the system is monitored, how do you ensure the model risk is under control or whatever that has been defined, it's under that. So all those governance would be built from day 1, thought through from day 1. It's not about cool demos anymore. Okay, that time is gone. That was 2023, 2024. That time is gone. It's about giving value from AI system. That cannot happen until or unless you put things in production. Very simple. Okay. Now I'm going to give you a 6 question set basically that you need to ask yourself if you are going to do a enterprise AI demo or thinking about doing it, scaling it and building it. Please see these answers queries very carefully and ask these before your next enterprise AI demo. If the answer of any of these is no, that is where you have to focus, not the model. Okay. What is the first thing? Business outcome in 1 sentence with a number. That's it. From this AI model or AI implementation or project, what is that I want to do and how much improvement I am expecting. That's it. If you can't tell it clearly, nobody will be in confidence with you. Has security reviewed the data flow? You cannot say that I will use this data, that data, I will use this pipeline, that pipeline. No. Do you have a security go ahead from whatever architecture you are trying to use? Have you thought about cost when the things get scaled basically? So cost at 10x, 100x, 1000x, right? So have you thought about that? That is an important thing. Otherwise it will become a big time blocker. Then inside the tech, you might have experienced people, you might be able to deliver things on time and so on, but do you have the budget? Okay, and budget normally come from someone else, someone from the business side, someone from who is actually in the pain due to that problem. Okay, so and if you want to do legal, finance, these kind of things, right? If you have a business sponsor, that your life will be easy. Has legal seen this? Very important. Start having conversation from the beginning only. Okay, don't delay it till the last day. And then single measurable KPI agreed upfront. So no ambiguity here, that what is that we are trying to do, how we will do it. No ambiguity here. Single measurable KPI from day one, and then everybody agrees on that. That is the direction you have to follow. If there is no definition of success, you are not going to get deployment sign-offs, right? There are more nuances to it. For example, model risk tiering, or how do you ensure that your gateways are using the allowed way of using it. So many nuances based on the companies, but these things will help you to have the conversation with the stakeholders on how AI should be implemented in enterprise, how it should be built, how it should be scaled, and how it should be thought through. I am bringing a very special guest, guys. In April, first week or second week or third week, you will get that video. Okay, he's a very senior person in one of the India's largest MNC, and he's going to explain you these things only. So I have covered few things, but he's going to talk more about from his experience when he's talking to clients, how enterprise AI is evolving, what are the challenges on the ground, and how you should think about it. Very, very useful podcast coming, guys. And this is also very useful for you. Take notes, take the screenshot, and it will help you a lot when next time you are having conversation with your bosses. Give me a thumbs up, guys, if you are correlating with this. I know you are correlating with this. Just write me in comment, correlating, I have seen this, I see this daily, and so on and so forth. And let's solve it together. Give me likes and comments if you like the content, guys. And I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.